And we're live. Welcome to Music Matters with Jason Tramm. Thank you so much for joining us for our unique podcast community where we explore the triumphs and challenges of the performing arts world as seen through the eyes of distinguished colleagues. And thank you so much for helping us grow. We just hit 1,987 subscribers this day, and it's because of people like you who interact with our content and leave a like and subscribe, and it means the world to us because as artists, we put ourselves out there, and to know that some of what we do and makes an impact is very important. So thank you so much for helping us grow. To learn more about our podcast, check out our website at www.jasontram.net and follow us on our social media platforms. We're on all the platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram, you name it, we're there. Except TikTok, but that's probably coming soon. Because I'm old. Anyway, welcome. Today's a really special edition of Music Matters. We have a very important production coming up of Leonard Bernstein's Candide, a semi-staged concert performance at the Dorothy Young Center for the Arts, coming up this weekend on October 22nd and 23rd. And I have joining us today two very, very special colleagues who are both integral members of the cast. We have Mr. Ken Magos, who is a seasoned performer and singer and actor and now a television host with Drive-By History and Drive-By History Eats, which has been growing in leaps and bounds. I've known him for a long time, and welcome, Ken.
Thanks, Jason. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to talk about this production of Candide that's coming out this weekend.
It's going to be a wild one. We also have our coloratura soprano, Chelsea Friedlander, who has been on the show before, and she is just a delightful performer in person, and she's got the role of Kunaganda, which is high-flying indeed and certainly interesting, and delighted she can join us too.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited, and it's going to be such a wonderful weekend upcoming.
Why don't we start with, what does Candide mean to you? It's such a fascinating story. I mean, I've spent so many years, I've had this on the radar for a long time, and it's just fit. I've been talking to Joy Hermelin, who's singing the role of the old lady in our production, and we've been talking about it for years, just kind of finding a place and a time, and it's been on the back burner for a while. I'm fascinated by the source material, the Voltaire story from 1759. I'm fascinated by Bernstein's evolution of that story, bringing it to modern times, and how it can shed light on our challenges we face societally today. Tell us, who is Kunaganda, and what makes her tick, Chelsea?
Well, she is a very material girl.
The original material girl.
Yes. And I think she, at the beginning of this show, is very blindsided by all that. And I do think that from beginning to end, she does have more depth in her. I do think that at the beginning, she is definitely this kind of ditzy side love interest. You know, obviously the main love interest to Candide. But I do think as a singer and actress looking at this role, she does really come full circle to realize what are the important things in life. And it's not, all, being glitter and being gay, which I think is also a really important message, that at the end of the day, it's not about materialistic things, right? It's about how we love each other.
Very well put, and not all sugar cake. We're going to quote every line of the show as we go. We're going to use every song somewhere.
I love it. Yes, not all bubbly pink champagne and gold. That's not what everything is about here.
But are they bejeweled sheep? That's the question I have.
Mike, I love my job when I'm running around looking for bedazzled sheep. And as of yesterday, I think we're going to have 15 bedazzled sheep. I think some of them are going to be in the chorus.
That's what I heard. Yes, that's great.
So my life is certainly interesting.
Never a dull moment with a show like this. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of unusual props. There are unusual locations. There are all sorts of things that may be a little unexpected. And as the narrator, I'm kind of the person who gets to introduce all of them and tie the story together, it's so much fun.
Now, the narrator, if people have seen this show, the narrator has an enormous function in this show. So tell us about what it's like, stitching this story together. It's very interestingly put.
It's been very interesting, and I've been working with Joy, our director, on creating a through line, trying to make sure that it is a salient story that we're telling, because there are parts of it that don't always make sense. Another issue that we've encountered is there are some things that may have played well 100 years ago, may have played well 50 years ago, but today topics that were maybe less comfortable bringing up, or some lyrics that needed to be changed. So we've tried to make sure that it is accessible for everyone who's coming to see it, but it still stays true to the story so that you can follow the line through. So
I
yeah, we
think
get
the
some
social
quite-
commentary still hits hard. I think
It does.
we've maintained the tone, but we've certainly been cognizant of that. I think all three of us have been reading and like, whoa. Our
Yes.
first meeting was Ken and I in a restaurant. We went through it all, and we are like looking at this and looking at each other. I'm like, I don't know.
I was like, Jason, I don't think we can say this. I mean, I'll say whatever you decide you want me to say, but I don't think we can say this. So yeah, it's been an evolution, and we finally have settled on a wonderful script with Joy, but it's going to be fun to bring this to life.
So directing this is Joy Hermelin, who's a Broadway veteran. She's just got off Caroline or Change on Broadway, and she just returned home from singing Yenta in the Chicago Lyric Opera's Fiddler on the Roof, and brings a real, like, she came in the room and really brought something interesting. I know she did this show in the Hal Prince production for 6 months, I believe, so she's got a lot of background, and it's interesting to watch her and to take this. And I mean, she called me yesterday just so happy with the cast, and every single one of them is so interesting and so giving. And I mean, she was like almost in tears because she's had a very busy run, and she fit our production. And when she took this, she had nothing, and now she's got, like, Chicago popped up, and then, but it's something about it. It's very emotional to come and to take a piece and to watch her come alive.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's got a personal connection to it. For me, it's wonderful being back on stage and doing something with a live audience, because I've been doing so much that's television work where you don't have that live audience. You hope your performance carries over.
You're a performer at heart, so no matter what you do, you bring that with you. So it's and congratulations on the success. That just hit PBS, right? That the season's coming out.
We're in our second season of Drive By History Eats, and season 6 of Drive By History is coming up in 2023.
Has it been 6 years? Oh my God!
It's been 6 years. I know, it's hard to believe. But yeah, our Drive By History Eats debuted season 1, and the numbers have been phenomenal. 400,000 people have been watching this show, which is, I don't think 400,000 people have ever seen anything that I've done. So it's phenomenal. I'm humbled. I'm truly humbled by it. It's genuinely surprising and shocking to me.
Well, we're humbled to have you here and making music with you. It's like family. So Chelsea, tell us about returning to the role of Kunaganda. You said you sung this before. Where did you sing it last, and what year was it? And what's it like returning home again to a role like that?
So I sang Kunaganda with Angels Vocal Arts in California, in a theater in Pasadena, California. And that production first was supposed to also be a semi-staged version, and then it got bigger, and then it really became a staged version. And it was a theater in a round, so that was also very interesting to kind of play to an audience like that. And between 2018 and 2022, now returning to the role, I am now a married person. So coming into this, it's been different characterization and singing love duets differently out that are very different than when I was younger. So that has been very exciting to dive into. And also, I'm a different singer than I was about 4 or 5 years ago, and we're all different people than we were before the pandemic. So it's been really exciting to return to the role, and also obviously to return to Light Opera of New Jersey, who has been so good to me for many, many years. So it's always really exciting to come back to Light Opera of New Jersey.
Well, it's exciting to work with you again. It's been a few, we've worked together a few times, and it's always exciting. But to know that you have roots going back to very young with this company, and it's really special to have you come up there. And I think it means a lot to all of our people involved, and to me, and to everybody. It's going to be
I love that.
homecoming.
I think it's really funny when people ask me my connection with Light Opera of New Jersey, and I say that my first time singing with the company was when I was 16, and then everyone's like, "What?" So it's nice.
Shout out to Bill and Lauren Corson, who are probably listening or will be very soon. So they're spectacular. They're coming to both shows, so we're excited to see them there as well. The founders of the company, and still very much involved, and we're in touch daily on the reception or the running of the company. Or it's great to have such dedicated people involved.
Yeah. We should talk a little bit too, Jason, about what people are going to see when they get there, because this is not a small production.
We have 100 people on the stage, just
Yep.
about. So, I mean, we'll start with that. The Dorothy Young Center is such a beautiful facility. That's a $10 million state-of-the-art concert hall. And it's like a mini Lincoln Center, I like to say. And you'll have a 50-voice or 55-voice choir on risers in the back. You'll have a 30-piece orchestra. And we had our rehearsal last night. And, man, the score is so colorful. The percussion everywhere and harp. And it's just such a vibrant score. And then you'll hear 6 or actually 8 wonderful professional soloists, acclaimed. We have opera singers like Chelsea who've sung at opera houses and professional situations all over the country. You've got Broadway veterans in David Benoit and Joy Hermelin, who are both veteran Broadway actors, along with the narration of Ken Magos, and I'll be conducting, and the jokes will be flying constantly, and it's going to be quite a dynamic production. The soloists will be costumed. It'll be we say semi-staged concert, but it really is. It's very integrated. It's not just a concert where it'll be like like the Beethoven 9 where you have they sing it, but there's very much involved.
Yeah, it's not going to be a static production, and I think that's one of the things that I've seen watching rehearsals so far. Obviously, I sit over to the side. I have the best seat in the house. I get to hear these phenomenal singers, and I don't say it lightly.
The best of all possible
Phenomenal
seats.
singers. The sound, and I'm not singing in the production. I just get there. It washes over me. It is such a joy every night.
Correction, you'll be the only narrator in the history of narration to sing the finale, because I put you in the Make Our Garden Grow.
Okay, so I'll be singing the finale, but that's it. No, but seriously, it is absolutely amazing to me, and I don't want anyone to think this is just a static concert where it's stand up, play your music, stand up, sing a song, sit back down. There's interaction that's going on. There's sword play that's happening. Candide inadvertently kills a number of people.
Shout out to Victor Starsky and his mad sword skills.
Oh, and what a voice. What a voice. When he and Chelsea sing together, it is amazing.
I've known Victor for quite a while. Victor and I did a Traviata together. We did a Butterfly together. What a spectacular person and human being. And he also, over COVID, he's had 2 children, and him and his wife, Augusta Casa.
I do not know how that guy does it. He has a 5-month-old at home.
Yeah.
Well,
I've been there, and it's a lot of work.
Yes, you know that one firsthand.
And it never changes. Yeah, I go to my university. I sit down there. My 19-year-old walks in the door, and here's the cash. But it's quite a joy, and I just love my as a conductor and artistic director. I love to put together casts, and it's like paying a kid to play with blocks, right? You get to take these great talents. You say, how would this one fit with this one, and this one interact with this one, and it's all hypothetical, right? And people like Jeremy Blase I'd worked with many times going back 10, 15 years, but I said, my God, what a perfect fit for the role of the governor. And
yes.
And you mix it in with a Chelsea and a Victor, and boy, oh boy, I mean, what makes the theater so incredible is we're all better than the sum of our parts, right? When we come together and it works, it turns into something like alchemy, like magic. It's so thrilling to watch it come together. Every night has been like, okay, quantum leap forward, orchestra, quantum leap forward. Tonight, back with the soloists again. I can't wait to see what we do with this new script, revised script, and the singing, and tighten the screws, and then put it with the chorus on Wednesday. And it really is thrilling.
It is. And this is the season opener for LONJ season. What a magnificent way to kick off the 2022-23 season. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, we got quite a ambitious season ahead.
Yep.
We've got Don Giovanni after this in February, directed by Stefanos Koroneos, who's been doing great work in many different countries and bringing his production to LONJ. It's exciting. Mm-hmm. And then we have a Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, a show which I am absolutely listening to constantly. I'm in love with.
I loved it when I saw it on Broadway.
Crazy. So we're murdering people all over the place this year.
I didn't even think about that.
The theme of the season is murder.
Don
Giovanni
they're getting dragged to hell.
Don Giovanni kills the commendatore. We drag him to hell. Yeah, it's all good.
I see where your theme was. Yeah.
I watch a lot of Game of Thrones. What can I say? House of Dragons, and we even put a reference to that show in the show.
Don't spoil it. Don't give it away.
They just need to come. They need to come.
Yeah.
It's gonna be something. So one thing that fascinates me about the Bernstein is the biting, like the sarcasm that's in every piece. Like if you look at there's like sarcasm on the macro level, like for example, Glitter and Be Gay being a parody of the Jewel song of Gounod. But there's also parodies of style. There's parodies of institutions. What's it like to both of you? Like, I'm always fascinated by social kind of commentary and social activism through music. What's your thoughts on that?
All right. Go
ahead, Chelsea.
well, because I think that, in my opinion, Candide is that perfect mix of musical theater and opera that when promoting the show, like we are here today, you have the best of all possible worlds, right? When you say, oh, well, you're not so familiar with the sounds of opera. Oh, well, did you know, Bernstein, Sondheim was involved with this. All these other people who, you might know from the musical world have been affiliated with this piece. And to sing something so iconic that has been sung by musical theater people and then all the way up through, operatic stars as well, I think opens a door for a lot of younger generations. So I don't know if that's such a social thing. I mean, yes, telling my young students, you might not understand everything, but you'll hear the music and you'll hear singing. And I think what a better way to be introduced to that opera, musical theater, molding. For the longest time, I have felt that Candide is the adult version of the Fantastics. This perfect mold of two young lovers and the outside world convening and, projecting things when their love was kind of perfect to begin with. And just like in Candide and like the Fantastics, the boy goes off into the world, Candide goes off into the world, and the girl or Kunaganda kind of has to figure out her own thing. And then they're like, wait a minute, why did you mess everything up? Like, we had a garden, we had a wall, everything was nice. So it's also that, the social anxiety, I guess, of the world putting pressure on young people and love and marriage and all that kind of also shows through in this piece. Like, at the end of the day, well, you were still the person I was going to end up with. I just had to, get some sheep and kill some people and
travel to all over the world.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, wait, it was right here. You were still here, even though, Kunaganda died a few times too,
In horrific fashion. It's fascinating to me when you put this together, and I'm just so interested in this kind of the journey. When you listen to the music to the first duet, the Kunaganda,
Oh Happy We.
And they're both singing two different songs at the same time. It's hysterically funny. They have these unrealistic expectations of marriage, and even at the end when they come together, it's in canon because they're not really together. It's so fascinating.
Very happy that it's very rare how we agree, even though it's so mind-blowing, because it's like in marriage you do have to hopefully complement each other, and hopefully you are in a little bit of harmony, a little bit.
You find that those moments of harmony and build off that.
For sure.
But it's fascinating. I mean, there is certainly in the Voltaire, there's certainly a lot of darkness, but he couches the dark social criticism in extreme humor, and we see that in a lot of art today. just in my mind, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and there's so many different shows which kind of, South Park, of course, is taking like extreme situations, making them ridiculously, and then looking at the societal lens through those ridiculous situations. And Candide is perfect for that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Voltaire was ahead of his time too, because you've got the absurdist movement that was really active in the early part of the 20th century, where there was so much social and political commentary that was couched in these ridiculous stories where bugs were talking to each other or a rhinoceros is running down
Ibsen,
the
yeah,
street.
yeah, comes to mind.
And so this is not so far away from that, but it's also a safe way to get your message out there because it's open to interpretation. If you really want to dig, you're going to realize that they are poking fun. I love the opening of the show where the four pupils are sitting there with Dr. Pangloss, who's, the best of all possible professors, teaching the best of all possible students, and they're doing nothing more than just repeating by rote what he's saying. There's no thought there. There's no critical thought at all. And you watch their journey, and not everything in their lives goes perfectly. Spoiler alert. But they come together at the end. I mean, that's really where we go when we get to make our garden grow. They're all living together in a house, and they realize that they have love. What Chelsea was just describing was a beautiful analogy for this. It is a good fit with the Fantastics, circling the globe only to come back home and realize you had everything that you needed from the beginning.
Not a beautiful thought. We have a great comment from Lois Buser, our rehearsal pianist and assistant conductor, and a friend of all of us here. And she says, everything about human nature and the weirdness of the world that Voltaire commented on Candide is still true today. Astounding. So Voltaire and Bernstein both help us laugh about it. That's a great point. Like something as crazy as the auto de fe, and which is the act of faith, or when the Spanish Inquisition, they would burn people alive at the stake. And making that, what a day for an auto. I mean, I had to explain to the orchestra because they were playing it so seriously and on the charts. I'm like, oh, this piece has to be over the top, hysterically funny, like we're going to a fair or something. And that's what makes it so interesting, is this over the top rhetoric. And in Bernstein's time, I think Voltaire was mostly railing against the church and against the government, of course, and that translates into the Bernstein. But Bernstein was specifically talking about the McCarthy hearings. In the show trials, how like both him and Lillian Hellman were personally targeted. So in 1956, when Candide was limited, that was what they were discussing. But it just becomes increasingly relevant to today's society too, that we can look at these things and use the lens of comedy and the lens of the arts to help us tell our stories.
Well, it was interesting going through the script and realizing how much of the commentary that's on there still is relevant today, and actually doesn't need to be changed, doesn't need to be updated, which in a sense is kind of sad, because have we not progressed beyond where we were in the 1950s, then kind of a dark time in our history.
How about 1759? We say a lot of this are still relevant from back then. The Candide story resonated with me. It was just like, when I read it, I was like, how does someone set this to a musical and think that this...
Well, but the music is kind of over the top because it has to be. It has to kind of poke fun at what it's talking about, but by the same token, listen to those lyrics. Really pay attention to what those characters are saying, because they're telling truth.
They each represent a different philosophy or a different. Each one has very specified meanings, and
they're kind of archetypes for me. I mean, that's how I see the different students.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, You have the vain son, Maximilian. You have Kunaganda, who's kind of an airhead and she's waiting for Prince Charming to come rescue her and just be perfect, and everything's going to be great. However you take it, Chelsea, it's kind of where the character goes. Yeah, you have Candide, who's just kind of like, I'm kind of dumb, but I'm going to go experience the world. And you have Paquette, who's like, I know how to get ahead. And I know exactly, she's not born to privilege, but she's going to figure out how to make it work for her. And you've got the old lady who kind of comes in, and it's interesting to me because it seems as though she's kind of taking them all under her wing at various times. And she's, we don't really know why she's the woman with one buttock, but we'll find out.
It's pretty fascinating, isn't it? It's like, like she in the story. Of course, just like in any narrative, you have to take things out when there's music involved, and but there's so much deeper when you dig into the source. But the old lady went through all these horrific trials in the story, and it's like boiled down. But I like the fact that we have added some dialogue back in to flesh out some of those interactions and relations.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're not going back to the full source material of the original, but we're giving the audience enough so that they'll understand where these characters came from and hopefully where they're going. So we're kind of dropping in the, it's drop the needle, find out why is the old lady here at this moment, and she's going to leave at some point too.
She comes in and right at the end of Act One, and then comes blazing in with Easily Assimilated, one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
boy, oh boy, wait till you hear that play off with the orchestra playing all that. It's going to be,
Oh, so good.
the orchestra opens up there. It's really exciting. There's so many great moments. Bernstein's musical genius. I mean, we were talking, the orchestra players were all talking about it with me, and often orchestras, they just come and do their job, but they're all like, "This is wild music." I mean, it's like the genius of Broadway mixed with a real large, like operatic style orchestration. It's very interesting. The Scottish opera version, there's differences. Even the overture was redone.
Oh, yeah.
So.
That's interesting. I don't know which version I know then.
Bernstein only orchestrated the Scottish version.
Okay, then that's the one I know.
So
He
then,
actually spent the time to do that.
Yeah.
the orchestration for the opening is so tells a whole picture without words, really, because you have almost every character perfectly musically narrated before anyone comes on stage, before anyone sings. And I think that is hopefully what people will be.
It's so delightfully madcap and just absolutely crazy, with mixed meter all over the place and so much percussion, which to me is very, very Bernstein heavy, with all the great percussion and interesting colors. And so it's gonna be that overture that's one of the most famous pieces in the show, is the overture. It gets done all the time.
Oh yeah, it's a standalone piece. But as Chelsea said, it has all the motifs from all the different characters that run through it. It's just amazing. I can't wait to hear the orchestra play it.
Me too.
Have some fun on Friday for sure.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a treat for us. Yeah. So what else can we tell you about the piece? I don't know what else.
Well, there's always so much to say. I mean, Bernstein,
I know.
he's so and this is 10 years before West Side Story, right? Which 65, am I right there? Yes, right around there.
Well, no, it was in the late 50s, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so it was pretty close then. We were talking about the same decade. It's interesting to see how his style evolved and how he uses, there's certain, nascent West Side Story phrases in this score. For example,
that's what I hear, are the rhythms too.
In the execution scene, he goes, "Oh, oh, oh," which is just a jazz riff that he makes the call of all the faithful. It's hysterical. If you swung it, dun, 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 it turns into When You're a Jet.
Oh yeah.
There's so many crazy little things like that. I'm like, just swing that, and all of a sudden it's a different piece of music. And he is one of the only people that can take a piece like this and turn it into music that's both substantial and lighthearted almost at once, and sarcastic.
His music has a sense of humor, but he also is synthesizing so many different styles seamlessly and gorgeously. And what a pleasure for this audience to be able to hear it with a 30-piece orchestra, because you get all of the colors. You'll get all of the nuance. No pressure, Jason, but all the nuance.
Oh, well, we try. Certainly we try. For me, it was very exciting as an educator. I have my university students from Seton Hall, many of whom have never seen an opera or been involved in an opera. And this is something that's going to be so wild for them. We haven't done a large-scale performance since before COVID. I mean, this is really coming out and doing something really special, and they can't wait to hear the soloist. They're really excited to hear the orchestra and to be part of this action. And yeah, it's going to be truly exciting to put this together and just trying to explain to them the plot and how this piece fits in, and how it's meant to be very sarcastic. And the more funny you make it, the more the sarcasm comes through. There's been a lot of fun to teach.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's going to be fun, but I can't wait to hear the orchestra. That's going to be the cream on top of the sundae.
My goal will be making sure that we're balanced sound-wise, and they want to get very, but Bernstein, once again, he's a great composer. So in the orchestration is when singers are singing, usually it's very lightly scored. It's mostly winds, light or accompanying strings. But then when they're not, then he opens up the floodgates and the sound comes in, the brass comes pouring in. You've got 2 horns, 2 trumpets, 2 trombones, and you've got tuba. So there's all sorts of tonal resource to play with.
Love that. And also, you had mentioned to me when we were sitting at that restaurant talking about this, that the space that we're going to be in the acoustics are phenomenal. and it's fairly intimate. It's not a 2,000 seat theater where you're so far away from the stage. The audience will feel like they're experiencing it up close and personal. And we're going to be in front of the orchestra and the huge chorus, but there's going to be a wave of sound coming through and just washing over the audience.
And if nothing else, the whole show is beautiful, but that last song is one of the most moving pieces ever written.
If people aren't crying in the audience, check their pulse.
We were all crying in the orchestra rehearsal without the singers there. I mean, like, people are just like, "Oh, this is going to be wild."
It's so good.
And I can't wait, that wall of sound that when it starts with just the Candide hitting awareness, and Kunaganda joins in, and then you have all the cast, the leads join in, and then the chorus comes in over and the orchestra drops out, and it's this wall of sound. There's nothing like it. Then at the end of that huge high note, the entire orchestra comes in fortissimo. It is thrilling, and it's nothing like Make Our Garden Grow. It's totally unique in the repertoire.
Yep, 100%, which is also why it's a favorite concert piece on its own as well.
And the vocal demands, that big high C at the end of the show.
I know.
He doubles the high C with the chorus too. So you got the chorus also singing high C. I mean, nobody does that. That's like over the top.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
why it's not done so often, because
you're probably right, Chelsea.
The vocal score I gave to the chorus has it down a whole step, and I'm like, oh no.
Wow.
It's actually in B flat. I'm like, it is not in B flat. Victor can't sing that low.
No.
It's low enough.
But that's an interesting point about this score, because it is not written just as an operatic score. It's expecting the singers to be able to utilize their entire range. Chelsea, not everything in the score is written like Glitter and Be Gay.
Oh yeah, there are parts in Kunaganda that are definitely in that musical theater style, and as a vocalist, first for me is, how do you pace yourself, because then it has those operatic qualities, of course, for Glitter and Be Gay. So this show for a singer is all about pacing. For me and for Victor, my gosh,
100%.
I mean, his arias, I mean, their arias are really like, woo, you gotta
honk. If we were joking around, it's like they're low, and then all of a sudden you've got crazy, like, the ensembles, there's 2 high C's in the roll. It's like,
well, he and I were walking out to their cars after rehearsal the other day, and he was mentioning, he goes, I don't know, I haven't quite figured out where I need to go with this, because I can't feed into the low parts because it's low, and then I have to sing a high C at the end. Like, it's.
We were joking around that Jeremy Blasi gets all the B flats.
I know. Yeah, but he gets breaks off in between them as well.
Those two.
I remember seeing an interview with Barbara Cook talking about when she first was handed the score, and she looked at Bernstein and said, "You're joking, right? This is not real. This. I'm on candid camera or something. This can't possibly be." Yeah,
but that role is like her. I mean,
I know.
I mean, and there's things that she sings that are just like, no one can sing it like her.
We kind of forget, like, back in Mozart's time, Mozart wrote his arias. He would get to a town, the set pieces would be written, but he would add the arias based on who was in the cast. And we kind of like forget that in our time, didn't Barbara Cook originate the role? Was she the first?
Did.
Yeah. So he kind of wrote it for her. So now we have to adapt ourselves to these performances that are historical. But at least in living memory, we can like hear interviews from Barbara Cook and that type of thing. But we can't do that with Mozart so much, but it's fascinating to recreate something and put yourself into it, right?
Yeah, of course. And especially for an audience to have a preconceived notion of what, a Candide or Kunaganda may sound like, like a Kristen Chenoweth, to just like take stealable artistic things from other people to kind of make your own, so that people say, okay, that's Chelsea's Kunaganda, that's no one else's, And what a better way, kind of, for an audience, hopefully, that is feeling more comfortable during this crazy time that we're living in, that this is hopefully maybe one of the first things they've heard since the pandemic. And I know some of my family members haven't really gone out and seen live music in a long time, and they are, braving it for me. So I think a really great way to introduce this work.
Well, we'll certainly give them a heck of a show, because I know with your singing and your passion, your craft, and Ken's narration and his what he brings to this, which is incredible, and
thank you.
and all of the combined talent of the singers and the chorus and the leads and everyone else, and a very dedicated production team. We have someone working on props. We have, all these, Lois and Joanna, just a great team of people, and who give so freely. I mean, I can't speak highly enough about the people in this organization who work so hard. It means so much, and who will run around gathering sheep and spray painting sheep and taping. I mean, there's so many like moving parts in any production that people don't realize behind the scenes. It's not just the conductor and the singers, and of course they're part of it, but there's so many more. There's so much more. And I want to encourage anyone who's hearing this, who wants to get involved and to be a part of something. Check out the Light Opera of New Jersey. We have room for lots of volunteers. No matter what your skill set is, there's a place for you, because this ultimately is the community's art form. We want to get as many community members involved as possible, whether you're on the stage or behind the scenes. Very important.
Yeah, this is a wonderful company. I haven't been involved with it quite as long as Chelsea, but I came in as Sweeney and Sweeney Todd in 2017. And then did Hunchback in 2018 as Frollo.
Which Ken, I have to say, my mom, Colleen, who's watching, she always says, there was no Sweeney like Ken Magos.
Tell her the check. She can cash the check.
High praise indeed. High praise indeed from a very talented musician.
Very sweet. It's very sweet. But I've had phenomenal experiences with this company. When Jason and I were talking about it, I'm like, I'm in. What do you want me to do? I don't care. Sing, not sing. Sweep the floor. Spray paint a sheep. No, I'm kidding. I didn't know about that yet.
I spray painted a bench for the first time in my life. I'm like, this is awesome. I was like on La Boheme. I'm sitting there working backstage. It's like when you're part of a show, there's something exciting about just being a part of it and watching it come together, and watching the team gel. And that's, as a conductor, we're just, my job is to make the score come alive as best as possible, but there's so many pieces to that make it special, and the people are a lot of it. Really, it's a people art form for sure.
Well, and this is the nicest cast I've been in years. I
Aw.
love you folks. Seriously, it's wonderful.
It is a really great group of people.
Yeah, supportive and collaborative, and it's all terrific. I have to say, this is not a production. This is an event. And I want people to come out and see it.
If anyone knows my work in the past, I love big events. I've been doing big events for 25 years now, even before that, I guess. It's, if you're going to, my motto has always been go big or go home. We're not going to do a precious little thing over here. It's just not, that's, you need to be, art has to be something that inspires and uplifts. And I think this really is as good as anything I've done. I can't wait to bring the audience into this to see how this music is truly triumphant and sarcastic, but also funny and uplifting. And at the end, we come full circle around and we see that, find the good in your life and make our garden grow. And it's a chance for us all to come together and to be a part of something truly we're going to be proud of.
Absolutely. No other organization in New Jersey is producing something on this scale. This is truly, I mean it, it's an event. I'm so proud to be in my little corner reading my little book for the audience.
Not so little. You have one of the biggest roles in the show.
What do you mean? You have to hold us together.
I know, I never shut up. You all should be prepared. I never shut up. I even interrupt. Jason has to tell me to shut up a few times.
That's my favorite. Tap, tap, tap.
I think he built in a couple extras because he enjoys doing that. But yeah, absolutely.
We get along so well in real life, so it's
exactly
a lot of fun to play it up on the stage.
Absolutely. Yeah,
it's going to be fun. Funny conductor.
So it's only 2 opportunities to see this. You don't want to miss Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 3 p.m. Where can they get tickets, Jason?
You can go on our website at www.lightopera.org. Again, www.lightoperaofnewjersey.org. And there's ticket links there, and there's also there's a
The
code
coupon code
10% off at the
today.
moment. CAND10, capital CAND, CAND 10, for 10% off all tickets. So I hope you come and join us. It's going to be a great night at the theater at the Dorothy Young Center in Madison, New Jersey, and you're going to see these two fantastic artists and many others. We have opera, we've got Broadway, we've got entertainment and action and drama. It's going to be a beautiful night. So I want to thank each of you both for being here on Music Matters, and can't wait to see the audience in the hall this weekend.
Yes.
Yay!
100%.
Thank you.
We can't wait. Hope to see you all there. It'll be fun.
Yes.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us on Music Matters with Jason Tramm on the special edition talking about Candide by Leonard Bernstein with the Light Opera of New Jersey. And hope to see you in the audience. Please say hello after the show. I love to see people who watch the show and come up to me in my live performances. That makes me smile to know that we have people who come to both. So have a great day, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you in the theater.